Alright, welcome back to the next video, the continuation for the small streetwear brand series. Today, as the title says, I'm going to be showing you how I do this. I put these little patches on the sleeve, really applicable to any location, though the sleeve is pretty easy because it has this big opening. You can put the sewing machine arm inside there. I don't know, I guess maybe some sewing machines are a little bit different, so other locations might be easier, but I guess an example is I've been trying to do pocket tees, put the patch on the pocket, which is more difficult because the pocket only has that one small opening, so it's hard to get the arm underneath it. You kind of got to flip it inside out. A lot more difficult, whereas this just fits over the arm and you can maneuver the shirt to whatever angle you want to sew it on. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do today. And of course, before we get into it, I have to do a little shameless plug for my brand FACADE. We got these puff t-shirts coming out soon, and we just put up, depending on when this video goes up, April 16th, we just put up our pepper tees, which as of now has like half of the amount, half of the inventory still in stock. So if you guys like that design, I'll throw it up here. Be sure to go cop one of those, or if you can't afford that or don't want to buy anything, feel free to go follow us on Instagram at That's a Facade. Both that and the website will be linked in the description down below. And with all that out of the way, let's go show you how to sew these patches on. All right, so here we are over at the workstation. First up, things you're gonna need, the obvious ones: sewing machine, some way to get the patch onto the garment, which leads us to the garment. You're gonna need something to sew it onto. And then less obvious, we have these are pins. We're gonna use these to pin the patch onto the shirt, keep it in place so it's not wiggling around while we try to sew it on. Obviously, we need the patches that we're going to sew on. So we got this. I only got so many hands, so I can't do the close focus, but you'll see that a little bit later, more close up. And then a nice thing to have is a thread ripper, a stitch ripper. I don't know the technical name, something like that, some type of ripper. You can also substitute this with some small scissors that let you get in close to the patch when you finish sewing to cut off those excess threads. All right, so obviously the first thing you're gonna wanna do is pin the patch. I usually use 4 pins to keep it in place. And since I always start on this edge right here, I like to put the pins on the bottom, these 2 right here, a little bit away from the edge so that when I put down the clamp from the sewing machine, I don't have to remove these don't get in the way. Obviously having a big ball on the end, it'll make issues if you try to clamp down on it. So I usually try to keep these a little bit away from the edge so I can clamp down and then sew and then remove them afterwards. All right, so the next logical step, obviously you gotta sew it on. You see we have this one moved out a little bit because the ball, even though it was pushed away, it did get in the way a little bit, so I had to push it out a little bit. We still have part of the needle going in, so we'll keep it in place. You wanna make sure that your needle is lined up. You can use the little turn thing on the side. Yes, I know technical terms, to see where it's gonna land. You can see down there, it's a little bit close to the edge, so let's move the needle back up, pop this back up, our little guide, move the shirt in a little bit closer, and then we're a little bit further away from the edge, which is about where I would like to be. So once we got that all set, it's time to get this bad boy sewed on. So we'll go ahead and do this first bottom line down here. All right, so we got the first one done. How do we flop it around? A little bit of common sense here. You're gonna have to do a lot of rotating of the shirt. Let me get this by the camera. And we got the shirt over on the front side now. You guys can't see too well. Lift up this. We're gonna have to remove this pin, obviously. It's gonna be in the way, so take that one out. And you really just remove these as you go, You only got so much space, so they're not all gonna be able to chill there while you're threading. We got the bottom one done. And yeah, you just kind of follow this process. For these vertical ones, it's a little bit easier to keep it lined up. You can just look at the weave in the garment, the weave in the blank, and then follow one of those lines to keep it lined up. That's pretty much it though. You do a line and then you get to the end, clamp it back down, do the next line, remove the needle, and yeah, I'll see you guys at the end of this patch. All right, so we're at the end of the patch. We've gone around all 4 sides. What do we want to do now? Well, you want to go over it again a little bit. There are a couple different ways that you can kind of like secure down the stitching. One of the ways is to, I think, back thread, back stitch. I forget exactly the technical terminology for it, which you guys will notice is kind of the case with a lot of this stuff. But yeah, what we're gonna do is just go back over a portion of the stuff we already did. So just line it up so it's in line with the first line that we did. We're coming full circle, and then go over it a little bit. A lot of sewing machines have a button that you can do it backwards again. Usually I do that just to be safe. So I'm holding down this button that allows me to go in reverse, and then we're gonna run it back. And then we're good. Lift up the thread and we'll pull that bad boy out. The thread ripper we got right here. You can see all these threads. It's actually still attached to the sewing machine. I don't know if you can see the line or the threads too well, but you can tell there's tension there. What you want to do, take that or some scissors, cut that. We're gonna have some on the back here as well, so we can use the thread ripper to clean those up, and on the front too. Another method that you can use to kind of secure it a little bit better is take a needle and then push these back through to the back side, and then tie them off and tighten them on the back. So that's how you get the patches on.